Raised Rowdy.
Everybody, welcome to the Raised Rowdy Podcast. We have our guest here, Chase Rice. Welcome, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for coming on the pod, man.
Yeah, no, it's an easy day. I looked at the schedule yesterday. I was like, oh, good, I get a day off. And I was like, oh, no, I don't.
One
But
podcast.
gets me out of the house.
Yeah. What part of town are you in?
I'm in Franklin.
Cool.
Yeah.
So not too far, I guess.
No, it was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I spent all day yesterday recovering from Saturday night.
Oh, my God. Saturday got me.
Same.
Yeah, afterwards, 100%. Man, I don't really do a whole lot after shows anymore. Like, band and crew's pretty much sober. So I just get back to the bus. But Saturday was a blast.
Yeah, it was fun.
Just hanging out there. And then Roy Williams was back there. And I went and talked to him for a while, his wife. It was just, man.
Who's that?
Roy Williams. He's a head coach was the head coach at University of North Carolina.
Oh, cool.
Football,
I was like,
basketball.
I don't know who that is.
That's okay.
I was thinking different Roy Williams.
Yeah.
He's a legend in Carolina. But, man, it was just between that, seeing a bunch of high school buddies, Caleb Presley, we all went to the same high school.
Okay.
It was just a good night.
So we're talking about the relief show Saturday night in Charlotte, since no one probably knows what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, what is the deal with y'all's high school?
I don't know. It's good.
So I didn't realize this. So who has gone to your high school? Notable alumnus.
Luke Combs.
Okay, so
Luke, Caleb Presley, myself, Ben Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions right now.
Jeez.
Gotten a bunch of head coaching offers, turned them down to stay. I'm sure other people. There's a running back Rico for the Cowboys right now.
it's weird. And like, was that a huge school or?
It's 4A, so it's one of the bigger schools where we're from, but it's smaller now. It's lost some people, I guess. So,
And that's in Asheville.
at Fairview, North Carolina.
Gotcha.
It was wild, man. So I moved to Fairview when I was like 11. So I spent 1 year in elementary school, and I went to Reynolds Middle, Reynolds High. But then I lived off a place called Old Fort Road, right there in Fairview. And Coach Brian Craig, we had a bunch of Craigtown Strong T-shirts at the deal. He takes me down. He's like going to show me the remains of Craigtown, which is nothing. It's kind of gone. But we drive past my house. I see that, and that house was still there. Another 2 miles down the road is Craigtown. And as he shows me, and we take the right on Flat Creek Road, which is where I would take that all the time to go to my buddy Bag's house. And all the houses were gone. He lost 11 family members. So hell of a way to start the pod, but it's crazy, man. It's wild. It's cool though. What is it? $24.5 million we raised Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and that's Luke, man. Luke put that together. So,
Yeah, I guess he was saying that he reached out to Cappy, and Cappy reached out to the Panthers, and then Church had also like reached out to the Panthers, and then someone was like, y'all talk to each other and figure this out. So I guess they both had the idea, and then that's how the show kind of came together.
yeah. And then it started. It was supposed to be, I think, me, Scotty, and Parmalee starting the thing. I didn't play we were supposed to go on at 5:15. Rain came in. I didn't go on until 9:30. Eric got what he wanted. He wanted to start the whole thing with Hallelujah. So that ended up happening, which is an unbelievable way to start the show. Cappy and them had to shift what we did. And I didn't go. I was drinking, hour before I was going on at 5:15. So 4 o'clock I'm drinking, just get a little loose up there. And it was like, oh, okay, so I have 4 more hours till I play. I better slow this down. But I handled it okay.
I know. It's first of all, the show was so amazing. The vibes were incredible. But it was the same thing too. It was like I'm used to playing at 9. I want to have a beer at 8:30.
Oh man.
And then it was like it got delayed 2 hours, and then it got delayed more, and it was just kind of like by the time we didn't walk off stage like 1 a.m., dude.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
We were down below, below the deck, before we were going on, me and the Parmalee guys. And one of the girls, Cappy's management team, I said, we're probably gonna be close to 9:45. It was like 9:15. She's like, really? I said, he's just gonna play. He's not gonna. Eric was on playing. He's just gonna play. And then 5 minutes later, she was like, yeah, we just got the radio. Church is churching right now, so you guys just hang tight. And he churched till about 9:45.
Yeah, he got into that medley. I looked at Combs. I'm like, there's no way he ends this medley and then plays 2 more songs afterwards, and then it ends on time. It's not going to happen.
No. Yeah, it was. You guys went on late.
Yeah.
Real late. But it was an unbelievable night. That's the first time I've really seen Luke live, ever. It was since he opened for me years ago, a long time ago.
It was just such an awesome night, and getting to hear James Taylor was like
so absurd.
Dude, and my dad texted me, and he was like, "I don't know if it's because I'm a boomer, but this music just moves me like incredibly." And I'm like, "No, it's not just because you're a boomer. It's because it's James Taylor."
Yeah,
that'll last forever. I mean, he's got that thing where it's timeless. Yeah,
he's tapped into some other ether where he just pulls on your heartstrings.
Yeah,
like I don't get it. It was amazing, and Billy Strings just ripped. Just was so good, man. Man, I wish you were there, Nick. Well, what were you doing?
Working at Pig Fest.
Oh, yeah.
Where was Pig Fest?
Hendersonville.
Oh, okay.
It was like a community fair we helped with.
Okay. We're doing some Pig Fest in Tampa next weekend. It was supposed to already happen. It got wiped out by the hurricane, so now we're redoing that. Some sort of Pig Fest down in Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, I ate good barbecue, though, but it wasn't James Taylor, you know?
Oh, my God.
Did you get to talk to James at all?
I was around him, but I didn't end up talking to him. He did acknowledge my dog, though. He was walking by, and I wish I would have. He went to Carolina like I did, but he walked by and just kind of looked at Jack, nodded at Jack, like gave him a head nod, and then just kept walking. I'm like, hey,
what up, dog?
James Taylor just acknowledged my dog. So
Jack's a good dog too.
Can he come up? Is he able to pop up here a little bit, or can we say hey?
Jack, come up here.
He was Jack made his stadium show debut. This boy was there. He's a good boy.
Hey, boy.
Hey, Jack.
He was on stage with you for the show and sat. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how you train a dog to do that, but he just sat right next to you on stage, not like on a leash or anything.
I know.
In a stadium show with 85,000 people, and just chilled while you sang your songs.
Yeah, he the night before we played the Bluebird, so I was he's done that every show. He comes on for a song called Bench Seat. And he lays down or he heels pretty well, and he'll break a couple times, like if people are pounding the stage or throwing something. But he's usually right there by my side. But the night before at the Bluebird, I was interested how that would go because it was an hour and a half. We were sitting there. Luckily, there's no monitor, so it wasn't loud. It's just the two speakers.
Yeah.
But he laid there for an hour and a half that night, so he did really well. I figured he'd do well. I didn't know how well he'd do with 80,000 people. I don't think he's ever been on a stadium before.
Yeah, I didn't know how well I would do.
I was kind of nervous, man, at first because it's just guitar. I mean, I've played stadiums. You go on there with your band, and it's easy. But
you were with Kenny
Chesney,
yeah. But with just a guitar, I'd never done that. You know, playing to 80,000 people with just me and a guitar, like. And I'm playing Carolina Can, which I hadn't played in a long time, and then Hall River's a new one, so it's like, I wasn't that confident going on, but. Then while church was churching, I just sat down there and I just kind of sat on my guitar case and I was going over what I was about to play, and by that point I was just like, just get me on the stage.
That's how I felt.
I wasn't even nervous anymore by the time I got on.
Get the adrenaline rolling.
Yeah, because it's like you get hyped and then it gets brought down, and you get hyped and you're just like, I just want to fucking play right now. You know.
It was badass. And then Luke at the end of the set, he brought us all up for Carolina to sing Eric's song. I think him and Eric sang together. And I was over there on the drum riser just trying to get his jersey off. That thing, you guys locked that thing down.
But yeah, also his jersey, we had like on the drum riser, there was his high school football jersey. He said, what did he say? It was his practice squad jersey.
Yeah, it didn't have any marks on it. He didn't have a whole lot of cuts on the jersey.
And then on my steel guitar was his like rugby jersey. And
that's what that was.
Yeah. And because he played rugby at App, and it just. Mine wouldn't stick on my steel guitar at all, and then you couldn't get the football one off.
I couldn't get it off for like 5 minutes. I'm like ripping this tape, then there was like a steel beam between it. It was like they definitely didn't want somebody stealing that jersey.
Yeah.
But I did put it on. I went up to Luke whenever they were doing Carolina and said, "How's it look, man?" He said, "It's a little big on you." But yeah, he played 4 years there at Reynolds.
Yeah. So. What a fun night, man.
I'm
still not even close to over it. Like I haven't even thought about it.
It's rare when you knew while it was happening, you're like, this is a special thing. Like this will never happen again. It was just special overall, all around. It was awesome.
And also it was kind of like everything was just being thrown together so last minute, so we didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And it was like a lot of these artists, like are all used to it being their show. So it's like cool that other people would just like sort of put Carolina first and just like come and help sell tickets and be there, and because it was like logistically was kind of weird because there wasn't enough room for like everyone to have their own green rooms and everyone to have like the catering they're used to, or a million different things.
Yeah,
so.
We were in like a bathroom.
Yeah,
that was our green room. It was one of the visiting bathrooms. But Cappy came up to me before. He was explaining, this was going to change. You guys aren't going to go until after church. He kept saying church strings, they're doing their thing. Then you guys are going to do this. I had no idea what he was talking about, but I said, all right, dude, I'll do whatever you want to do. And he was like, dude, thank you for, being, compliant. And it's like, dude, this ain't about us. This is the whole point of the thing was about the people in Carolina raising the money. So it was a special night.
Yeah, it was like every time we got delayed, we were just like, $24.5 million.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what happens.
crazy.
Yeah. And of course, by the time we got on stage, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. It was just tough especially for you guys, because it was your deal. Like, for you guys to continue. What time did you go on?
We were originally supposed to go on at 9:45. I think we went on probably like maybe 11, maybe after 11.
It was definitely after 11. What time did you get off? Like 1:30 or something?
Yeah.
But that's tough. It's like the guy who
late.
made this happen isn't even going on till 11. That sucks for him, but he did a great job.
Yeah, it was fun. And it was weird because it was like by the end of the set, we probably got off probably at 1. So maybe we started like 11:30 or something. I don't remember. But it was like it started raining, and it was like I felt bad but people stuck around. But
they
it was
stuck around. It was a long day. I mean, a lot of people were there around 4:30 because we were supposed to start around 5:15. So 4:30 to 1 a.m. That's a long day.
That's if they weren't partying in the parking lot,
Which they were, I'm
Which
sure.
they were for sure. Yeah, I went for a run earlier, and it was cool to see people like tailgating and
were
stuff
they?
like yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. It was a Saturday, so that helped. Not having to get kids to school and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I had so many friends there and stuff. Asking for tickets or backstage. Most of them were cool. Some people asked me to go to the box, and I'm just like, I'm not doing any of that.
It was completely for us. We were told don't bring friends.
Yeah,
you were giving 0 comps for this whole show,
which is the point.
Right, every dollar has to go to where it needs to go.
I had some people ask for tickets, and I just didn't even respond to that. But most of my buddies, they all bought tickets, or they were in a suite or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even gonna mess with going to the suites. It was just like, I'm just gonna hang down here and just be around folks backstage.
Yeah,
it was easy.
That has to be hard for something like that too, because if you see some people but not everyone,
right.
then like people will get mad.
Yeah, and that stadium's big, so like to go up to the suites, walk around, probably the other side of the stadium is just like, I'm not doing that.
Too much.
I'm gonna enjoy this night.
Yeah,
and you don't want to miss any of the music.
Yeah,
that's the thing is if you go to the suite, they're gonna want to talk, and it's like let's catch up down the road. I want to watch James Taylor. I want to watch Billy Strings. It's like I want to see this.
That's totally the thing. It's like everybody thinks that after you're done playing your set that's the end, but on an event like this or at a festival, you don't get a chance to see those people too much because you're out touring so often.
Right. And that lineup was so stacked. I want to actually enjoy this and sit down and watch it.
I know. And Sheryl Crow. So I was sitting on a couch in Luke's green room, and we were watching the stream, like the Veep stream or whatever, and he was playing Talladega, and so I was in there singing along like pretty loudly, and then someone walks in behind me and says, "You sound pretty good." And I turned around, and it was Sheryl Crow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I was like,
sick.
Sheryl Crow just told me I sounded good singing. I think she was saying it sarcastically, but like, it doesn't matter.
I've heard you sing. She was.
True.
Bailey Zimmerman was there. He came up to me. I said, "Have you played?" And Bailey was pretty lit up, I think.
Yes.
I said, "Have you played yet?" And he was just like, "Bro," and just stares into my soul. And then he didn't answer the question. Now he's like, "Sheryl Crow just came up to me and she said, you are one of the, I've been wanting to meet you. You're one of the #1 playlists that we have in our house for kids, I guess." And he was just freaking out that Sheryl Crow wanted to meet him, which is cool. I mean, that is awesome.
I heard him tell that story a few times. So.
Yeah, there you go. Bailey was fired up.
Yeah, dude, he has a good time. Man, he sang his ass off though. It was fun.
Yeah, he did, and you could tell his voice was like, you could tell he'd been partying a little bit.
Yeah.
But he, note wise, he was hitting everything.
Yeah.
He's a good singer.
Yeah, and Wes sang good. The TikTok guy.
Yeah,
that song was.
Helene was the name of the song.
Have you heard this song?
I don't think so.
I need to hear the recorded version that he put out.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah,
and I remember I was standing side stage because I came off stage and then he went on stage and did a solo acoustic song, and I've got goosebumps all over like my entire body, and the security guy is like facing away from the stage. Same thing. He's just standing there like this. And I'm like, bro, this song is like, who is this? Song's like wrecking me right now. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely check that song out.
If anybody doesn't know, I guess Luke found him on TikTok and found the song. I guess maybe it went a little viral before that. I don't know, but that's cool of him to do. And the kid went up there and crushed it.
Yes.
Like, that's a lot of pressure if you're not. And I don't think he's ever played a stadium before.
Absolutely not. I think he's never played like Coyote Joe's before.
Right.
You know?
To go straight into a stadium and nail that's impressive.
Crazy
impressive.
I'd be freaking out. It's like, for us, it's like you start in bars and clubs and you take these incremental steps, and then just to go from that, I don't know.
And then you're usually opening for somebody. You're always opening for somebody in a stadium first, so you get used to that and you play 20 a summer or whatever. And you're like, okay, by the end of it, you're used to it. But that kid, I don't know how he did that so well.
Great singer, man.
Yeah.
Whew. Overall, crazy. I need to process that more.
It was, I was sitting on my porch this morning. I'm just like, I want to do it again. Like, you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
It's a freaking awesome night.
And you guys there was like a couple technical things kind of going wrong at first, but then it's so funny. It's like you guys, you're like, guitar's not on or something.
It was on, then it stopped for no reason.
But on the stream, it was on. But
oh, really?
Yeah, but the monitors.
Yeah.
I wanted to like call you and be like, dude, guitar's on, dude. Like,
well, the house, I guess it wasn't on in the stadium because I turned to Matt and I was like, can you hear my guitar right now? Because I couldn't hear it in my ears. He said no, and then his vocal wasn't working.
Yeah, so but it was on the stream, but not in the ears or whatever.
I don't know what happened there, but it ended up working.
Yeah,
and then
not an easy situation to go in, but you guys all sounded great. That sounded really good.
I haven't heard the recordings yet.
It sounded great.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there singing, like I said, Hall River, which I've never sang acoustic live. Well, one time at the Bluebird the night before, and then Carolina Can. I haven't played that in years. So.
Yeah, and it's like it's not your usual monitor guy, even though Zeus is our monitor guy. He's the best in the world.
He's
but
great.
It's like, and it's so throw and go and like a lot of stress, but you guys really crushed it too.
And then those staves were supposed to be spinning, and it didn't spin for us. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be for us. I don't know. But either way, it didn't matter. It was just like, this is a special night.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sydney Sweeney was there.
Yeah. I mean, getting to play with Luke, it's so many people show
Somebody's
up.
there at every
there's
show.
There's always somebody, man. It's like, it's like that girl from Stranger Things is here or whatever. Or I'm like, whoa, cool.
Ninja
11.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, came out. Yeah, so
Millie Bobby Brown. I think is her name.
Yeah. So there's always crazy fame, and then of course Dale Jr. was there last night.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him. I got to know Dale at North Wilkesboro. He came to the show. And Clint Boyer and I have been friends forever. And Clint was like, dude, you care if I bring Dale back? I'm like, please bring Dale back. So we hung out on the bus all night. I mean, it was like 2 hours just hanging. Amy was there. And I'm pretty buzzed up at that point. It was the end of the North Westboro show. And I'm sitting there like two-step. Amy's teaching me how to two-step on the bus. I'm like looking at Dale like, my hands are up here, man. I promise. He was the best, man. It was good conversation. It was a good night. She's awesome, too.
Yeah, he's cool. I got to we played a charity show at his house once.
Really?
So and he's got that like Western town like on his property.
Oh yeah. Is that in Charlotte?
Yes. I believe so.
I didn't realize a Western town was in Charlotte too.
Yeah, it's like it's not in he's got a huge property, you know. And I don't know why he has this, but it's like it looks like a Deadwood or something with like a fake jail and like which actually has a real cell. And a saloon and a little church and all this stuff on this row. And there's like a hangman thing. And I don't know why he has it, but it's awesome. And he's like, yeah, we used to like race, fly home, and party until like 6 in the morning until the sun came up.
I want to go to one of those parties. He probably slowed down a little bit. But
oh, yeah.
That's like Bob's house. Kid Rock has a house over in Weiss Creek. And the house now is that big white house on top of the hill. But have you seen that? Have you been to his village?
Mm-mm.
He's got the same thing. It's like you pull in, there's a church on the right, huge building on the left, which is where his studio and pickleball thing is. Then he's got a saloon. Then his trailers were at the end of it. He had a bunch of random stuff. It was his house. It seems like that.
So crazy.
It's like if you were a little kid and you had a bunch of money, what would you buy?
Yeah.
That's like when the FGL guys got like that treehouse studio. I'm like, hell yeah, that's what I would do.
Why not have a treehouse?
Yeah. At that point, it's a write-off. What a blessing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Free treehouse. Everything was free for them. They made so much money.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that fucking massive smash you let them write, you know?
Fucking massive smash. We wrote that, man. That was before like tracks kind of took over.
Yeah.
Which I fell into that pretty hard, but we didn't write that with tracks. We just kind of did I probably got the work tape, but we made a work tape.
I would love to hear the Cruise work tape.
We made it after we wrote it on guitar. It was like 45 minutes. We were writing a slow song, and oh my god, I have it. This is the OG right here. Yeah, it doesn't have that riff in there.
Holy shit.
This is historic.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
different, a lot different.
That's the thing though. That's the coolest part about getting to hear work tapes, and
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit.
Let's do it.
Is getting to hear like how it started and then where it goes to. You know.
Yeah,
So-
and they had Joey Moy, and
Yeah,
so
that helps.
I remember we wrote it, and they didn't have anything going yet, but they had Joey and Big Loud was on board, so it was like, okay, this could work. I have no idea. I didn't know anything back then, and Brian was like, man, this is because we were always writing for my records back then, when Brian and I would write, and he was like, man, this would be huge for FGL. Like, this is us all day, and we never written for them. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I have a song called Whoa that's kind of similar, so it doesn't matter. I don't need Cruise. Like, if you heard the song Whoa, it's not close. Like, it is not close to as big as Cruise was going to be. Like, but in my dumb mind, I'm like, man, I got a song called Whoa that's similar, so I don't need it. Thank God I didn't have it, because they took it, and Joey Moy made it what it was. Like, that was huge, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bones were there, but you just heard it. It's not what it was.
It almost has like an R&B feel on it.
I know. Well, that was Garage Band. I don't know if it's Jesse or Brian that did that, but he took it and made the little work tape instead of just singing to their phones, which is what we did in the beginning. And for whatever reason, that one he wanted to make that worked.
What,
Yeah.
Diamond was that 10 times platinum?
I think it's like 13 now.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
What a smash, bro.
That was the
Crazy.
one song that after that song starts popping, you know, publishing companies, management, everybody wants to get a hold of who's this guy.
Yeah.
And that was the one song I was talking to anybody. It was like, if you want to talk about Cruise, we're done with the conversation.
Yeah, because you didn't have a publishing deal at that time.
No, I still own all the Cruise.
That's
Dude,
so
hell
great.
yeah, dude.
It was
So great.
the one smart thing I did back then, and it was, I had one guy, I can't remember his name, but he came up to a show in New York City when I was starting to tour and do my own artist thing, and took me to lunch or dinner, whatever it was, and he said, man, I'm gonna lay out this offer right now. All he wanted to talk about was Cruise, publisher from New York, and he was like, man, I'm gonna give you $100,000 for this song for publishing. And I was like, man, I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to make more than that. He said, how much do you think it's going to make? I said, I have no idea, but I think it's going to make more than that. So we're good. I knew as soon as he started talking, I was like, this guy's not it. But he was also Nelly's publisher, and the Nelly version had not come out yet. I didn't even know about it yet. So he knew about it. He knew what was about to happen. He was trying to get me for $100,000.
Fuck that, bro.
It was wild. Looking back, I'm like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, bro. Seriously.
But
That's how it works.
that's how it works. He
I mean,
tried.
You always hear these stories about like these like shitty people in the music industry. Like I've kind of been shielded from it. I've just been lucky because I've got to work with good people mainly.
Yeah.
But damn, there's some fucking shady people out there.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Like before, I didn't move to town until 2020. Like I started
Okay.
Raised Rowdy back in Pittsburgh, so I didn't really understand how everything worked until I got here. You know, I'm like,
I still don't
okay.
understand how it works half the time.
Yeah,
Same, dude.
It's fun where I'm at though, because it's like during 2020 it was when I kind of hit a wall. I did a show, got in a shitload of trouble for that, and it was dumb. Like the way they made it sound was not how it actually was. But
I mean, like a live show.
yeah,
yeah, it was a live show. Yeah, it was people, but it was 10,000 seat place. Place that seats 1,000. It would have never been a thing, but I posted about it, not knowing the repercussions of what was about to come. But I woke up the next day. I was on the couch. I had like 76 text messages. The first one I ended up reading for whatever reason was Jake Owen. He was like, "You piece of shit, killing everybody out there. Ha 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 ha. Just kidding, buddy. You'll be all right." And I was like, what is he talking about? And that's when I started reading the text. I was like, oh no, this is national news. But throughout all that, I was just like, man, fuck all this. Like, because of Cruise and how I learned to write songs with the FGL guys, that's what I didn't know anything else. I just learned to play guitar. I just started writing songs in college, which was a couple years before that. And it's like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing now. And that was a popular thing, the bro country thing. I loved writing songs on a guitar and writing real shit. And I was writing a lot of that. But then when I started doing it, it was like, I think Ready, Set, Roll was following Cruise. I was like, fuck yeah, this is it. And I look back, I'm like, okay, well, I was clueless. And I was doing something that I didn't want to do, but I just didn't know how to do anything else. I was just trying to do what was popular, straight up. And it was what it was for like 8 years. But I remember sitting on the bus with Luke when my stuff started popping, and I think he was about to really blow up. You guys opened for me, and like, how long have you been with him?
Since 2017.
Okay, so this was probably like 2012, 13. And he was just sitting there. We were just talking music, and I was just like, dude, he was playing a couple songs, and he said he wasn't sure what he wanted to do yet. I was like, just do whatever the fuck you want to do, man. Like, you're a good enough singer. You can do anything. Just do what you like. And I wish I'd have listened to my own advice back then, but he took, he obviously the rest is history with him, but it's cool to see what he's done too.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about this new project, since we're talking about work tapes and all this stuff like that.
Well, throughout the 2020 thing, I hit a wall after that. Everything kind of came down on me, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So I was doing Paul Feinbaum's show at a dinner. I had to go in like the office of the restaurant with my buddies, just a bunch of Navy buddies, and a little charity dinner. And did Paul Feinbaum, and after that interview, I just hit rock bottom. I don't know what happened. I just closed down, hit my buddies. I was like, dude, I'm leaving. I got to go home. So I went home that night and sat on my couch and and I was watching a Springsteen documentary. I deleted social media from my phone, let somebody else start running it. And that just cleared everything out of my head. I was just like, fuck, I can breathe again for a second. And watching the Springsteen documentary, that night, I got an idea from one of his songs on I think it was this, I can't remember what it was called, but I wrote a song called If I Were Rock and Roll on a guitar. And I was like, fuck, that felt good to write my own song again. Felt like 10 years prior. And but in my mind, I was like, okay, this would be cool for down the road, because I was still doing the pop thing. And like, few days later, I wrote a song called Life Part of Living. Same thing, by myself in my kitchen. A week later, I wrote a song called Bench Seat, which is about my dog and my buddy's true story about him. He almost killed himself. But all these songs started happening, just me and a guitar. So it was like, all right, this is the time we need to fucking go talk to Jay Joyce. We've been talking about it for 10 years. I loved what Eric did. Eric was a huge inspiration for me throughout when I started playing guitar in college. And it's like, all right, let's go talk to Jay. We talked to Jay. He heard the songs. He was like, all right, let's do it, which shocked me because he wouldn't work with me before.
Huge compliment.
Yeah, huge compliment. And we went in and recorded 2 songs. Jay was openly saying, like, man, I don't think I have time to do a full record with this. And he even made a couple comments just about me talking in the studio. I was like, God damn, you just sounded so much like Eric. It's like, oh, that's not good. Because in his mind, he doesn't want to do that again. He don't want to take somebody, he's already done that. But throughout that, we did the 2 songs. One of them, If Our Rock and Roll's put out as a single on radio, and the label's thinking it was going to be huge. It died at like 40-something. But Arturo Buenahora, who got us in touch with Jay, kept saying, like, Jay's not going to be all in for a record. I'm telling you that right now. We ended up doing the songs, which was cool. Learned a lot. But there's a kid named Oscar Charles that's really fucking good. So I was like, all right. So I'll go listen to some stuff Oscar Charles had. And I listened to it, and it was Boy Named Banjo which another girl had already put me onto. She got me into the Flatland guys, Boy Named Banjo, a bunch of other, like, in my mind, great music.
Yeah.
That was better than what I was doing. And so I was already a fan of what, it's just being honest, but I was already a fan of Boy Named Banjo. So Oscar did it. So I'm like, fuck, this feels good. Like, all right. Oscar came to my house, and we were sitting in the kitchen, played him some songs, told him the story about Bench Seat, and he started getting emotional. I'm like, just automatically we had this vibe from the beginning. He said, where do you want to record it? I said, man, I don't want to do the Nashville Music Row thing in a regular studio. I don't know where, but I don't want to do that. And he spun around in his chair in the kitchen and just kind of looked up in my living room and was like, what's wrong with this? And I was like, oh my God, this is my guy right here. Like, he wanted to do a house record. So we did the I Hate Cowboys record, which was all written on guitars. There's no tracks. There's no click track. There's nothing. So it was as raw as I'd ever done. Did that. And then we were in the studio last year. We were going to do a deluxe for the I Hate Cowboys record. And we had like 5 or 6 songs we were recording. And I'd already written a song called Go Down Singing with Blake Pendergrass in Carolina. And I got a call all within 3 days of us recording. They said, we're not going to approve the budget for this album. And I'm like, we're already fucking doing it. Like, we're in the studio right now. This is a problem. And if you didn't get Bad Day to Be a Cold Beer up the charts on radio, like, that's the only radio song I had. I don't know if it was a hit, but it seems like it live. That died at 47. So it's like, I have nothing else for you guys. Like, we got to record new music or nothing. And then I got no CMA noms. And I didn't think I deserved that quite yet, but I thought the video for Bench Seat was good enough with my dog. Didn't get that, which didn't shock me, but it was like, okay, my label, Laney and Jelly, both got the video thing. So I was like, all right, well, I know where those votes went. They're not behind fully what I'm doing. And then they pulled Bad Day to Be a Cold Beer all within like 3 days. So it was like, okay.
Ouch.
I'm going to why do I have a label? I'm going to leave the record. And we had a clause where if we didn't get 2 top 10s within 15 months of me giving them the record, that I could leave. They didn't even know that. So when I had Jess Rosen, my lawyer, go to him and say, hey, he's going to leave. They didn't think I could. They're like, no, he can't. He's got 2 more albums. And he laid that clause out, and it was a done deal. So that Go Down Singing record, or deluxe, turned into the Go Down Singing record. Yeah. And that was all written on acoustic guitar, same situation. It was basically the 2.0 of the I Hate Cowboys record, which we put out a month ago, the Go Down Singing record. Yep. Or 2 months ago. And then we just put out the Fireside Sessions, which was the Cowboys and the singing record together. Just me and a guitar with the songwriters, them playing a lot, them singing a lot. But every song is featuring the songwriters from those songs, except for one song. The guys couldn't make it. So, man, it's just, I always loved work tapes. So just singing into the phone. So we wanted to make it sound like that. And we did. And we put that out on Friday. So it's like, it's the first time in my career, we're 10 years into this thing, or 12 years, whatever, where it's like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. I'm not guessing anymore. I'm not, right now, who is it? Zach Bryan and Morgan are like 2 of the top dogs. Luke's always going to be there. But we've never once said, oh, this is what Zach's doing or this is what Morgan's doing. Like, we're just going to do our thing. And that's what Oscar's so good about. And then another thing we just did, we played Red Rocks with Dirks in Colorado. And Wyatt McCubbin and Oscar stayed. We stayed in a cabin for like 3 days and wrote songs. And it was fucking nasty. We wrote 9 songs in 3 days, three a day. And we're like, man, let's not overthink this thing. Let's go in December, record again. Because I think through the Cowboys record, not so much the singing record now, I think people are trusting it. But a lot of people are just like, he's just trying something. He's just trying to do something new. It's like, no, we weren't. We're taking who I am at my best, which is writing songs on a guitar, record them that way with, real instrumentation. And we just like, let's keep doubling down on this. At some point, people are going to start believing it, because it's the first time where it's like, this is me, and it's not chasing something. So it feels good.
I think it's great too, man. Like, I've been a fan since like PBJs. And
yeah,
PBRs.
Dude, I listened to that Dirt Road Communion record a little bit last night, just messing around, smoking at my house. Mm-hmm. It had some cool stuff on it. Yeah. And it was raw.
And it's raw. That's the thing. Like, I remember, like, when I first heard your stuff, I was like, this is cool. And it's like, it's extremely raw. So hearing the last, like you talked about, 2 records, get back to that. Yeah. And then honestly, the demos, like work tape record, for me, is just a crazy music fan. Yeah. Like, some of my favorite records are those like AIMP records that were all like work tapes of hits. And then like even like Shane McAnally dropped a Spotify record that's kind of like his version of a bunch of songs.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, this was, probably 2012 or 2014 or something.
I need to listen to that.
Yeah. So just getting to hear this, and so, what we do at Raised Rowdy is like host writers rounds. Yeah. So I got to hear like Little Red Race Car from Jackson and from Heath. Yeah. Before it was out. So now getting to hear their version with you is just so freaking
So cool. That was an interesting song, because that was the only song on the Go Down Singing record that I wasn't a part of to start. No, and Fireside. But I was at Listening Room, and Heath played it, and they started talking about Eric Church, how they want to get this to Eric Church, and I think he was joking. I don't know, but then he plays it, and I'm like, fuck Eric Church. No offense, I love Eric.
We won't clip that one part out.
Do not. Yeah, that's the one line gets out. Chase Rice says, fuck Eric Church. No, don't play that for him. I love that song. The only thing I didn't love was the bridge. Everything else was perfect. So I went in and rewrote the bridge. I said, guys, is this cool? They said, fuck yeah, it's way better. So went in and recorded that one. That one was the only, I got to hear it as a fan like you did first, which was badass. So that was cool. Fireside was a similar situation. But yeah, where do you guys do writers rounds?
So we're doing it like Losers, Riley's Luckblind now.
Okay.
So we were at Live Oak for a few years, like when I moved to town.
I remember the Live Oak ones.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I went to one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll do one. I'd love to do one.
Yeah, we would love that.
It's
done.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get like Jackson and Heath with you.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Because the Bluebird, Eddie, my manager, came up to me afterwards and he was like, dude, we've got to do more of these. Yeah. And I love doing them now. Like, I'll be straight up. When I didn't learn to play Ready, Set, Roll on guitar till like 4 years ago. Crazy that's even a sentence coming out of my mouth, but I didn't need to. Like, It was all written on tracks. I don't think I played guitar on stage. I would do it some writing stuff, but like still don't want to like play Eyes on You, Drink a Beer. I don't want to play those on guitar because they weren't written on guitar, so it's not naturally what I would do. And now it's these songs are written on guitar, and it's how I would play them. So it's when we do go play them, it's like, fuck, this is fun again. Yeah. So that's why I want to do more writers rounds, just because I enjoy it. I love playing guitar. And that's when I was down in the bottom, below the deck, waiting for church to get done. When you're nervous, I'm sitting there like, dude, just pretend like you're on your front porch, because I've been playing on my front and back porch for the last month, just nonstop. Just pretend that because I'm good in that situation. So don't let the nerves get to you. Just go up there and play how you play. And that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
The new record too, like as you talked about, like the sound sonically is very, I feel like it's you, right? And
yeah.
It's, I have a couple friends that honestly would chase you around every time you were around Pittsburgh for shows.
Yeah.
And I sent like both of them whenever the new record came, and they're like, yeah, I think this is the best one he's done so far.
Yeah. It's funny when people are like, man, I really think this is the best one. I'm like, it's not even close, guys. This is way fucking better.
Yeah.
And Cowboys was just us kind of figuring it out. We figured it out more during the singing record, but throughout so at Red Rocks, I didn't finish that story. We wrote those 9 songs, but what I realized at that cabin was we need to make a really good work tape. Like, it doesn't need to sound like it into the phone still, but we need to learn this. So I would learn them through the day as we wrote them, listen to them a little more at lunch or whatever, and then that night we would record the actual work tapes. And if it took us 6 takes to get a really good one, we needed to have that, because then I want to go listen to it. Then I want to go learn it, because Wyatt's doing shit on guitar. And I'm like, what the fuck chord is that? Like, I don't even know how to play that chord. He'd teach it to me. And then I would actually learn the parts. And now I went home and recorded some new ones even. But through that, it was like, all right, now that we have this badass work tape, how are we going to record this next record? So we're going to do December, just going to be me and a guitar. So I'm going to get my vocals and my guitars down first. So we're going to take this next record, and it's going to be different than how we've been recording, because we've done it with a live band all at once.
Yeah.
We may add that on to some of the songs. We may just add on drums and a bass and see what happens, and bring a fiddle in later. I don't know, but that's another thing. There's fiddle on 7 songs on the singing record when I don't have a fucking fiddle player. So we got to figure that out for next year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're going to do me and guitar, get that first, because that's where it's all based off. That's where it's the best. And then we can always have that, just that version. Some of them may just end up being me and a guitar.
Yeah.
Some of them we may add stuff on. But it's going to be a different take. We're going even more raw on the next one, just to see what happens.
That's super cool.
It's always been kind of weird. And when traditionally, like when you cut a record, it's like you get the band in there and you get the bass and drums, and then you like add the guitars and keys, and then you do all the stuff, and then you add the vocal.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was having this conversation with Eddie Spear, who's a really great producer, and it's like,
he's unbelievable.
Right. The vocal is the thing.
Yeah.
Everything else is just, it's not the icing on the cake. The vocal is the cake. Everything else is the icing.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are we doing this last?
Does Eddie do it first?
Well, he does it differently every time, depending on the things.
Yeah.
But I played on a record that he was producing, and that's the way they did it. They built drum loops. They cut the vocal, got the master vocal. This is for Colby Acuff's last record.
Okay.
And then they built up everything kind of afterwards, just to make sure the vocal was perfect.
Yeah, which is what we're doing next, and I'm more excited
I think
for
it's
that
smart.
than anything. Yeah, it makes it what you just said. You said it perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that's the most important part of this thing. You got to, if I believe it, they're gonna believe it. Like I have a song called "Circa 1943" that I've got that locked down. Like that's gonna be 1 or 2 takes. It's gonna be done.
I can already imagine. I can already feel the. I bet.
Fuck, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a fake story about my grandparents.
Yeah.
But we used their names. But it's a story about this couple in World War II that met. He got shot, and then they're messing around the 2 months that he's down. Like they fall in love, and then he finally goes back to war. But the whole thing is like we don't want to say goodbye. Like as soon as this thing's over, I'm getting right back to you. And yeah, it's like, by the way, if you ever make it to Superior, Montana, my brother's band still bangs around most Tuesday nights. Bet your boots I'll get you 2-step into WC Handy. I think you'd love it out west. Think we might have a knot to tie if you ever make it out of here live. And the whole story progresses to what happens in the end, which is, it's just a fucking roller coaster that you're riding down. And story songs sometimes can be harder to listen to. And this one's not for some reason. It's just like you're like, what happens to this couple? And it all lays out in the end.
It's like a novel almost.
Yeah. It's a Nicholas Sparks fucking war movie novel.
Yeah, my grandparents got married super quick right before he was deployed.
Yeah,
and,
they did it back then.
Yeah, and then they just stayed married forever.
Yeah,
for 60 or plus 6 years.
That's what they did back then.
They did that a lot better than we do.
Yeah.
I've never been married.
Yeah.
I'm like, at this point, I'm not going to do it unless I'm going to do it right. I'm 39
Just do it
years
once,
old.
dude.
Just
do it once.
I'm 39. Like I've avoided most people's first divorce.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm finally at a place in my life for the first time ever, because I was just a wreck for the last 12 years. It's like the first time ever I want it. Like I want to meet somebody. I want to sit on my front porch with her and my dog, and I do that a lot, but it's by myself, and that gets lonely every now and then.
Heard.
Yeah.
I've had a couple buddies too I'm 37 that are kind of in that. All right, we've done the party thing.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, in your life and your music too, which is cool.
Yeah. Now I don't know what that's going to turn into if that ever happens. I'm sure I'll have songs about her.
Yeah. I know what happened with Luke. You get all the Forever After All and Beautiful Crazy and all that kind of stuff.
That
and
worked.
then all the dad songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole record he just put out is awesome.
And then the next record's going to be the golf record. when you're just really rich and chilling.
Is he good at golf?
He's getting better.
Is he?
Yeah, he's gotten so much better actually.
I did golf with him 4 years ago. We're both.
He said,
great.
and I'll let him tell the story better, but he was golfing in Hawaii, I think, with Randy Hauser and whatever, and he was getting mad and throwing a club or something, and Randy was like, dude, just enjoy it. He said some, I don't know if they were high or something, but he said something and was it just fixed his brain where he just quit getting angry that he wasn't good yet. Because golf is it's like chess, dude. It's you're never going to be good at it, compared to the top people, but it's once you accept that, then it's you free your mind to become more zen and get better at it.
Well, I mean, think about it. You're literally out when the weather's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hanging with your buddies.
Should be the best day ever.
Yeah, having some cold beers, maybe
Cigars.
some Surfsides. Cigars, yeah. It's the best.
It's awesome.
I don't even golf, but I'm for buddies' bachelor parties, I'm I will come DD the golf cart and just chain smoke cigars with you boys. No problem.
I never understood golf trips with the boys. I was
Yeah.
why are you guys fucking doing this? That sounds horrible. Golfing for 3 days? And I've done them since. I'm oh.
There it is.
The golf don't matter at all.
Yeah.
We had a day off in Moncton in Canada, and Luke rented a golf course starting at 2:30. And so all the band and crew, we all golfed, and it was fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
The drinks cart gal just followed us around, and
There
all
the whole
day
time.
long.
You rented the whole course. You got nowhere else to be.
Yeah, and so they're just, whenever you needed a beer, and I brought boxes of cigars, and we just had ourselves a day. It was one of those. one of those days when you just kind of you have all your fun early and then you go to bed early.
Yeah, those are the best days.
Yeah.
By 9 o'clock, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you wake up the next day and you feel awesome.
Yes. Oh, dude, it's so much fun.
My golf guy, one of my golf, I call him my golf coach. He's not. He's just one of my best buds. Ryan Johansson. He played for the Preds here.
Familiar with that name.
Yeah. He's a stud golfer, like
Yeah.
a 1 or 0 handicap. And he's all, I'm out there, same thing. I'd start getting mad. He says, Bub. He calls everybody Bub. He says, Bub, they don't pay you to play this game, man. Just have some fun. And it's just like, that's a good point, man.
Sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where I go wrong is I'll go through phases, usually the beginning of summer, because you're like, okay, it's golf season. You start hitting the range a bunch. You're like, oh, I got this shit down now. Like I remember I hit like 12 good shots in the range one time. I was like, oh my God, I figured it out. I'm never going to hit another bad shot again. Fucking clearly a lie.
Yeah, super
And but that's where you start taking it too seriously. You're like, you have one decent round or at least 9 holes, and you're like, oh my God. Then you hit a bad shot and you hit an 8 or 9 on a hole, and you're fucking start throwing clubs
yeah,
and stuff.
100%. Yeah, my buddy is a golf pro in Boston.
Oh, shit.
And so whenever we would play anywhere in the Northeast, he would come to the shows and we would go golf. And this is before, way back in the day, 2017, before Luke got into golf, maybe like 2018.
Okay.
And his name's Liam Friedman, and he's just insane golfer.
Yeah.
And but then it was like Luke started golfing, so I'm like, Liam, go golf with Luke. And so they became friends. And so when we were on this tour this year, he would fly Liam out, and they would golf, and then he sets up a golf simulator. I was gonna say golf projector, golf simulator with like the camera that tells you your swing speed and all this. Just like rich people shit, dude.
Yeah.
And but it's awesome, you know. And so Luke's game's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, especially if you have a guy come in and tell you actually what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Matt, I can't remember his last name right now, but Matt out at Troubadour, he was took me and Ryan down to the range. He like Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods. He was their golf coach.
I've heard of them.
And yeah, and he took us down there for like 20 minutes. And I mean, I'm striping the ball. Same thing. I'm like, oh my God, I figured it out. And then I go by myself, and it's like everything he showed me, I couldn't recreate.
Yeah, the training wheels were off.
I don't know what happened. Like if he wasn't there, I couldn't do it.
Man, when I was golfing in Canada, that story I was telling you all.
Not killing.
Yeah, and I was struggling. And the golf cart, the golf drink gal was like, hey, do this. And I was like, okay. And it fixed it. And she was like, told you. And I was like, okay, cool.
The cart
Drink
girl?
Carl, yeah.
Oh, fuck. That's kind of
because I was pulling the club too far this way, and she's like, pull, you know, if you're wearing a watch, pretend like it's, I'm like, okay. And it worked.
Yeah,
I'll take advice, anyone. Liam says, don't take golf advice from anyone that's not as good as me. Is what he usually says, because there's so much bad golf advice out there, you know. But I was kind of drunk.
It is kind of the worst though when somebody's like starts giving you all this advice if they don't know it, and they're just like, I didn't fucking ask.
Yeah, that's so obnoxious.
That person can. I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
But
you get it. You get it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember in high school, my parents were like, I guess it was kind of grade school, middle school. They were like, hey, you could pick one expensive sport. You could either golf or you could ski. And of course, you know, being a kid, I picked skiing. So never got into golf.
Where were you?
Western Pennsylvania. So like Pittsburgh.
Okay. Was there good skiing up there?
Seven Springs are pretty good. Yeah. So we would go.
I love snowboarding.
Yeah. I tried snowboarding, but never really got into it. I fell so much that I was like, I'm just going to go back to skiing.
Yeah, it takes a good week to even stand up and never ride the mountain.
Yeah, my butt was just like black and blue. I'm like, I think I'm just going to ski.
Especially if you can already do it.
Yeah. So, but always envious of good golfers. Big Rob Snyder was like, I'm going to take you out golfing. I was like, bro, I think it's too late. I'm 42.
Yeah. I feel like golf is one of those things where it's like, if you don't do it when you're young, you're fucked.
Yeah. I'm like, I could go out there and just be bad, but you know.
I think Thomas Rhett picked it up late, and he's
you
pretty
could do
good.
it, man.
I'm sure I could do it. Okay.
I mean, you're not going to go on the tour.
Right.
But when I started like learning to play the fiddle, people were like, as an adult, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I got a teacher and worked at it. You know, I'm never going to be, you know, whoever, but it's like you can still get by and have fun. Mm-hmm. You know, golf's fun.
It's fun. We had a guy, Phil. He's our steel player, utility guy, and you could just tell like he I don't know if he loves the road, And he finally came to me this year. He was like, man, I think this is my last year. Like, I'm not going to do this road thing anymore. So we do have an opportunity now. We're going to fill his position at steel and keys a little bit, but we're going to get a fiddle player. It's like,
I got some names in my head. So
I'll give you my number and shoot me anybody you think would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be fun too. Like, I want a fiddle player to go up there when it's your moment. Go have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because fiddle's all about. I'm looking at Cleto right here. When I saw Flatland last, it was just like is it Wes?
Yeah.
When he comes up to the front of stage and does it, he does it.
Dude, what a hoss cat. I love Wes.
I do too.
Just being around that guy, and you see him smiling and he's just ripping it.
Yeah.
And he's just having a good time and kicking his boots up and
yeah. Oh, that's what I want. So you got anybody? We're looking.
Yeah. When I play fiddle, I have to stand perfectly still and think about everything my teacher, you know what I mean? And like you put a piece of coal in my butt cheeks and it'll be a diamond by the 3.5 minute song, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've never messed with fiddle.
Bro, it's like landing a helicopter on a lily pad, like Rob would say. Just every note, it's just.
And there's no frets.
Yeah.
So you just got to feel it.
Yeah,
learn
and the bow, and it's all muscle memory, which
is
hard.
Do you have to replace the bow after every show?
Not every show, but you have to get it rehaired eventually, depending. And like a lot of like fiddle players are a little more aggressive sometimes, so they have to change the bow hair out. But you look like Charlie Daniels. I remember opening for him when I played for Janet Kramer back in the day, and like you could see all the hair off the bow, and it looks so cool, and there's rosin everywhere.
Yeah.
But classical folks, it's like everything's clean and nothing's breaking because their technique's better, but it's not Charlie Daniels.
I was talking to somebody recently that said after the show, Charlie gave him the bow.
Yeah.
So that's badass.
Oh yeah,
So
well,
cool.
Some fiddle players like Wes uses cheap bows. He's just like, I just never liked using expensive ones. Like, I don't care. But like some classical players are like using like insanely expensive bows.
Really?
Made out of like elephant toe hair or something.
Yeah.
Some weird shit. But then some people, it's like you play a $40 bow and just throw it out in the crowd afterwards. You know, like the way Willie Nelson throws his bandana out.
Mm-hmm.
So different strokes, I guess.
I did a show with Willie. Like, that was the first tour I ever went on. First ever, which is badass.
So cool.
But it was like only 2 weekends. But that was like CAA wanting to sign me back in the day. Like, hey, we'll throw you on some Willie Nelson dates. And I'm like, yes, show me where to sign. And I did those. And I went up for his, I think they call it the Revival or something. Not Revival. It's something else.
That's what Zach calls his, But I know when he has everyone up at the end. Yeah.
So I went up, and it was me and Amy, his daughter, just sitting up there, and we're singing Roll Me Up and Smoke Me and a couple other songs. I'm just looking at Willie like, this is fucking happening right now. So I just sent him a guitar for him to sign. I've got old Martin that I want him to sign, so hopefully he does that.
Sick.
Yeah, if he does. But the problem with the guitar is it's a 1960-something. And it's a small bodied, just beat up Martin. So it needs some serious work. And I wish I'd have done the work before Willie signed it. Because now if I get it signed, it's like I sent it in and get the work. Am I going to get the guitar back?
Yeah, or just don't get the work done.
I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Not after he signs it.
Yeah.
I'll play it at home, but I'm not taking that thing out.
Yeah.
Bro, I played a guitar recently. It was a Martin 1938 D45. And
oh, shit.
The dude's like, it's pre-war Martin, and he was like, this is a $2 million acoustic guitar.
God.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to play it. And he's like, just play whatever you want on it. So I was like, okay. I just started jamming on it.
That's so sick.
$2 million guitar.
I looked it up because Dirks gave me a D45 for end of tour gift in Nashville here, which was badass because it was right after.
So great.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it was right after we'd done the Colorado trip. So we were talking D45s because I basically told Wyatt, I was like, yeah, I'm never going to have one of those because I was going to get one when I started, but they were too expensive and they were too nice with the pearl inlays and shit. And then 2 days later, Dirks gave me that one. But between that and I just bought a 1922 Martin 018.
Nice.
After the Eldora trip because we walked into this guitar shop in Denver and we'd been to one in Boulder the day before. It's like I love doing stuff like that where it's I really want to fucking buy this guitar and remember this trip, maybe write our last few songs on it. But we walked into that store in Denver and I saw the 1922. I'm playing it. Wyatt's playing it. I said, do you see anything wrong with this thing? And it was a lot of money. He said, no, dude, this thing's nasty. So he's saying that. I trust him. I need to get maybe a little work done on it, but it's fucking badass. So I named that guitar Eldora, and we're going to record a lot of songs on the Eldora record next year.
That's great.
On that thing.
Having a nice instrument is, a lot of times it's like, can you literally justify the money? Sometimes not, but it's like, sometimes you pick up an instrument and you're like, you can tell there's good songs in it, or like, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
And being inspired is worth all the money in the world, I think.
Yeah. Especially guitars, because my whole last 12 years it's been about partying. Like, I just wanted to party. I wanted girls. I wanted to get drunk, and I wanted to have fun. And for the first time in my life since these last 2 records, just being around Oscar, being around good dudes, it's like, why am I spending my time doing this when I could get on the bus and play guitar and learn a song or write a song? It's like, maybe you should take your job a little more seriously. So finally I am.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you sang your fucking ass off at the show, man.
Thank you. That
and
means
it's like,
a lot.
Sometimes with these like broadcast recordings, you know, when you're up there just with the vocal and acoustic, it's not the most flattering thing, but for you to sound as good as you did, and it's just really, you can tell you've gotten a lot better.
That's good. That's the key. Is like, why am I? And even writing with Wyatt was just like, man, these guitar parts, okay, I can. And then I learned it. I'm like, oh shit, I can do this.
Yeah, all that drop D stuff.
Oh, I love drop D. That's what we wrote almost every song in, and yeah, it's changing the way I'm writing songs. It's making me better. I'm actually taking my craft seriously. It's like I should have figured that out a long time ago. But yeah, that was another part of why I was nervous, because you're being recorded live. It's like, oh shit.
I don't know if they're releasing the recordings. I hope they do.
They should.
Yeah.
Maybe they can make more money even for them.
Yeah.
Everything.
I don't know how they go about that. But dude, the way they put that together, fast as they did and how well it went, on top of that, having to navigate around the weather, it's just like, man, they were on top of their shit.
Yeah, so Chip is Luke's producer, was the one mixing the live audio.
His in-studio producer?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Chip, what is his last name? Oh my God. I'm blanking.
Has he done all of Luke's records?
No.
The most recent ones, Singled In and Chip have done together.
Okay.
But
he's in my phone as Chip producer.
That's how I have a lot of shit too.
Chip, fuck. Oh well. Are you Googling it?
I was trying to get on Spotify, but the service is gone.
Yeah,
I got the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
we're in a little bunker of
this nice
EMP
tin roof
resistant.
building.
That's how I always look stuff up. I always look at the song credits for songwriters.
I love that. That's why
producers.
Apple has that too. You can see who played on it. You know.
Did Eddie Spear? He did some Zach Bryan stuff, right?
Yeah, he did that big, the first big record.
Yeah.
Chip Matthew.
Chip Matthews, yes.
Chip Matthews.
Okay, thank you.
I've been to JJ from Kaleo, the guys from Iceland, and
yes,
I've been friends with JJ forever, like 10 years now, and he always comes to my house. He was loving doing that while I was recording the house record, because he ended up whistling on Oklahoma, the whistle that's in the song Oklahoma. That's him, and he does not do collabs. Like, I think he turned down Springsteen. Like, he's not going to do it. Like, he's crazy. Like,
what?
I could have made that up, but
That's fine.
Started a rumor. But he brought Eddie over one time, and I had no idea who Eddie Spear was when he brought him over, but we just got to talking music, and he's a smart fucking dude.
Yeah. Super talented.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Crazy good.
Working with him is so cool, because like, I've never seen someone give a fuck as much as he does.
Really?
I mean, I've never like tracked with Jay Joyce, not yet. But it was kind of like when I was playing on stuff with Colby, it was like I was playing steel, went through, we got all the parts, we punched everything, got everything where it's supposed to be, figured it out. I was like, cool, we're done. He's like, no, like now we're gonna record it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so it was kind of like we spent like so much time on these little parts.
Yeah.
And then we got everything recorded. He's like, okay, now I want you to do it in one pass, like you're in the band kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, usually that would be hard, but it's like I had already worked at the part, so I knew what I was doing. So it was like, okay,
figured it
cool.
out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now for the Eldor record. Like, I'll just play every day, every morning, every night, because I know that I'm going to be the one playing it. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do this in one take. Oscar's the same way. Like, even when we were writing in Colorado, me and Wyatt would get up, have our coffee. Oscar's already outside, like, working on something. He just gives a fuck a lot.
Love it.
And that's huge. He's making me way better.
Yes, and that's what producers are supposed to do. That's why they get money for doing that stuff. You know.
Yeah, we just had LV Shane on too, who worked with him.
He's with
as
Oscar,
well,
yeah.
and said the same thing. Said he loved it.
That last record that LV put out was fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's super cool.
So nasty. Some of the production on that, I was like, damn, Oscar, you've been holding out on me. Like, it's badass. They did a cool job on that.
Yeah, they did some weird shit on there that
real weird.
Yeah,
and I love that type of shit. And you gotta have the right songs for it. Mm-hmm. But I want to start channeling some of that for what we're doing, because I love Jay. Like, Smoke a Little Smoke production.
Oh, that's great.
Is wild. Like the back and forth in the beginning, and it's just they just did cool shit. Cagey Elephant.
Yeah.
Jay did them back in the day. I love their shit. Some of it's real weird.
In that studio, that church that he's got.
Yeah. over in East.
money. Yeah,
it's sick. I just walking in there, I was just like, I can't believe this is actually happening. I'm glad we got to do it.
I've heard so many stories like some of my buddies that played for Ashman McBride, and they're like, Jay was so hard on us, and he like rode our ass and like yelled at us if we fucked up and all this stuff like that. And so I was like, going into this session, I was just taking photos. I wasn't cutting anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I going to see Jay like be weird? But it was like Rob McAnally and like all the studs. It was like his guys, and for Corey Kent for his recording, and they were just laughing, having a good time, and experimenting and collaborative, and like relaxed, fun vibe. So it just seemed really cool.
He was like that with me.
Yeah.
There was no, because you hear he's tough. It was easy. Maybe that means he didn't care as much. I don't know.
No, I think it's just, it's like he was the same with Corey stuff. It was just like, he probably just didn't have to get on your ass about shit. You know?
It was
I would take
really
it as a
easy.
compliment.
Yeah. I just loved doing it with him. It was cool to get into his brain and hear it. And then he'd send you the mix, and you know how usually it's, all right, here's the first mix. Let's go from here. He'd send the mix, be like, hey, man, here's the mix. Sounds good to go for me. Like, okay, so nothing. No, we're not changing anything. All right.
Could you imagine like emailing him back and being like, well, actually.
I did not do that.
No.
I didn't have the balls. I did ask him, I said, dude, do you think we could do this with the vocal? And he was like, yeah, good call. So we changed one thing.
Very cool.
I think he said on the, when we were in there, he was talking about the Miranda record he did. And he said, man, that chick is so fucking badass. We got the mixes back. We did the takes, and we didn't change one mix. She was just cool with everything. It was like no mix edits. That was really badass, and that was kind of probably his way of saying, like, don't you fucking dare ask me to make changes on the mix.
I love when artists like find their producer. It's like, it's like you're not married, but you found your producer, which in some ways is just as important.
Dude, it's huge. Because I worked with Chris DiStefano a long time.
Yes, dude, what a talented,
crazy talented dude.
Yeah, I saw y'all play the listening room together.
Yeah, and that was back when I was doing the pop thing, which made sense for working with Chris DiStefano, and he led me into all those records. But the whole time I was fighting him, trying to get him to be like a Jay Joyce type of thing. So it was just like I was trying to get him to go down roads that he wasn't. That's not him. So he was my guy for a bit, but that was also during my very confused years of like, I had a phase where I was trying to be FGL. I had a phase where I like Sam Hunt's the thing. I want to do something like that. And then Ed Sheeran put out some record, and I was just like, oh, this is it. I want to do some Ed Sheeran shit.
Dude,
I was close.
Awesome. Yeah.
Ed's unbelievable, but I can't fucking do that. Like, why even try?
Yeah, no one can. Just Ed, really.
Right. So why am I trying to do that? It'd be like if Billy Strings right now, I run into him on Saturday, and it's like, oh, I want to do a Billy Strings record. Like, no, people would see right through that, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, start taking guitar lessons then.
we have one song on this Eldora record called Two Tone Trippin'. It's a real funky thing that Wyatt started doing this guitar thing, and that's when we started talking. Like, dude, who could we get to feature on this? Because it's so far out of the box from what I do, and I didn't know Wyatt was doing the artist thing. I thought he was just a writer. So throughout that conversation, it was like, you do it. Like, because then it makes it a lot more sense, because we wrote this together, and it's more your thing than mine. It could maybe become my thing, but I got to learn all that. And yeah, let's just have you on it, and then it makes a lot of sense.
I love that.
It's perfect.
I love when folks shine a light on like the new up and coming folks. Yeah. Especially Wyatt, dude. He's so talented.
He's so good.
So crazy good. And I had no idea he could play like that. So he's gonna play a lot on this record. I hope.
I saw Wyatt when he was 17 open up for FGL at Country Concert in Fort Laramie, Ohio.
What was his music like?
Bro, I mean, he was pretty good back then. I thought he was older than 17 because like when I moved here, I was like, Wyatt. And he was, he's at 50 Egg, and we're friends with all the folks over there.
Oh, I didn't realize he was over there.
Yeah, or at least he was. I assume he still is. But like we were like, I was like, dude, Wyatt must be like in his 30s because I saw him in 2012, and he was like, bro, I was 17, and I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense.
How old is he? So he's not even in his 30s yet?
Yeah, he was 17 in 2012. So
don't make us do math right now. Okay,
12
so
years.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, 29.
Damn,
so like your age.
Yeah,
but he just has an old soul too.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole writing retreat, he's like calling his family, talking to his kids. I'm like, this guy's got it together. Mm-hmm. He's a good dude.
He's a great dude.
Yeah, so he'll be on the Eldora record.
That's great.
I have a song It could be the next. It could be on the next record. I have to write it, but I started it and I have the whole idea and concept. But I really want to write it with Jamie Johnson.
When you said circa 1943, that's what I was like. That popped in my head too.
Yeah, it's In Color.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar vibe. But this one would be unbelievable if he would do it. I just got to get a hold of him.
I know for a while he wasn't writing.
Yeah,
he's back.
He's back.
But now he's back to writing, I think.
I have no idea. We did a show together at the Ryman. It was Mitch Tenpenny, who can sing his ass off. Yep. Then Jamie. I was in the middle, following fucking Jamie, and then it was Darius and Hardy. I'm just like, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. Like, I'd go up there and I would probably sing Eyes on You and drink a beer, like hits. I wasn't going to do any of that. Like, but it's fun to be able to hold your own between Jamie Johnson and Darius Rucker. Like, especially following Jamie, that's almost impossible. But with this new music, I could do it, which was a fun feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of like you are able to do those acoustic shows because that's where the music started from.
Now I love doing them as opposed to before. I was like, oh, shit, how am I going to play this song on a guitar? But that night also, we went up to the Johnny Cash room in the Ryman. It was me, Jamie, and Lucas Nelson. And just sitting there smoking a joint, hearing all these stories Lucas tell us about him and his dad and Cash. And I was just like in the Cash room, and it was just like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever been a part of. It was really, and Jamie's Jamie.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, to be a fly on the wall in there.
Oh.
I've heard so many good things about Jamie too, like from like Ella Langley, we're good buddies with. And just said
Ella's badass too.
Yeah,
she was on that Dirks tour, and she played me a couple songs one of the nights, and holy shit, she is fucking next level.
She's so good.
Yeah,
Nick's been singing her praises, I feel like, for years, and I remember like you were like, this girl's gonna be a star, and she played your writers round, and I was like, great voice, great look. She didn't have any songs that like reached out, and you're like, just wait, because she was like 22 or something.
Yeah, she was like one of the, when I moved to town, we'd like been close with that, and we were buddies with Trey Lewis, and they were roommates.
Yeah,
and
so funny.
Ella and Trey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know Trey that well.
They were roommates for years.
Okay.
So you just see it with Ella. Like she wanted it so bad, and she was so good.
She still wants it.
Yes,
and
exactly.
She takes it very seriously.
Very seriously.
Yeah.
And you have to. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
But I remember like she came up to me. I think she had a dip in. I probably shouldn't have said that. But
whatever.
Maybe she did. Maybe just the vape pen, But she was like, "When are you going to let me play one of your writers rounds?" I'm like, "I mean, you played 2 weeks ago, but you want to play like anytime soon, like as often as you want, Ella."
You can just tell, and it's a gnarly thing because she is such a different personality than most humans, but it is so fucking real.
Yeah.
And you can just tell she wants it, and she's way good enough. Like she's a better
100%.
singer than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
But man, she played some songs that night, and I was just like, "Fuck, this girl's legit."
Yeah. We've gotten lucky enough to like get to hang with her some, and she will play us like work tapes and stuff, and come over to the house because she lived in this area for a while.
Yeah.
So she'd come over and when we heard "Look Like You Love Me," I was like, oh. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna like work, but everybody's gonna love it.
It's work.
It's work.
She, I went up and played that in wherever we were, and she asked me to do it, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, okay. And I went over it a million times that day. The first day I didn't do it, I don't think, because I didn't know well enough, and I just told her that. Second day, I'm like, okay, I go over it 100 times in my head. The one thing I fucked up on was I didn't play it on guitar. I was just going over it. If I'd have learned it on guitar, I would have been game over. I go on there, I'm like, I'm going to nail this. I got it. We did the rehearsal. I fucked up the first one, got the second one fine. I went on there and I fucked up the first line. I was sitting in a coffee shop drinking beer with the boy. I don't even know what the fuck I said. I was fucked. I got no words right. Zero fucking words right. And I'm just up there. I stopped. I was like, clearly I'm not fucking Riley Green.
Well, Riley's not the best at remembering lyrics anyway.
Really?
So, no.
I went up there and butchered it. And I stopped it. And I was like, hey, let's just try this again. I want to get this right for you. She said, just go to the chorus. So zero fucking pride left. I wouldn't have finished it. But I got the chorus right.
There you go.
It was not my best.
Yeah. Well, good for you on practicing, man.
Yeah.
I find that like sometimes like artists like they won't like sit down and like practice stuff. Like I've had the experiences. I'm not gonna say it on the pod. Maybe I will, but so like when people do and they sit down, and they spend the time to work on it. I mean, obviously you can't nail it every time, but it's like, it's just like respect, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're used to people practicing your shit, you know?
Yeah.
You're used to like your band and
you can rely on them.
Yeah. So it's just cool when people go out of the way to. It's just a respect thing, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I've gotten to the point now. There's probably only 5 songs, maybe, in a 90-minute set that I don't play guitar. So if I'm going to be the one doing it, I want to be the one like nobody else needs this part. Let's use you guys for something else because I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to push even harder on the next record because I'm going to play them all. So that's going to be badass. And it's hard. I mean, you go through and you're learning shit but it makes you a way better player.
And probably helps your writing too.
It helps it big time.
You learn, I can do this B7 chord here.
Yep.
You know, I never did that before. So it's like.
I started writing in drop D. I wrote 2 songs last week, or started them, where it's just like, okay, this progression. And you're picking something that's an actual part. You're like, okay, this is cool. And then you write another song where you're like, damn, this is different, but it's the same thing, but you're doing it a little different. And it makes you a way better player and writer.
Makes your brain wrinklier. You know?
Yes.
And then you watch James Taylor play guitar, and you're like,
oh, shit.
That dude's like moving through different keys and stuff, and it's just like, whoa.
That was cool shit the other night. When he played, and what did he say? He was just like, I figure I can't do this show without playing this song, and everybody knew what was coming.
North Carolina in my mind. I'm just like weeping.
And then he followed it with something else. He was done, and then he played something else.
Yeah, I didn't know that last song he played.
I didn't either.
But they were like, encore. He was like, okay.
Yeah, because he was done. He looked like he was genuinely going to be done.
Dude, in the drip he had on, like, he's got that old man swag, dude.
I started watching his Instagram before the show just to kind of look it up, and he's like rowing in his kayak in the ocean or wherever he was up north. I'm just like, this guy's a fucking baller.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
It's the good life.
That guy's got crazy stories, you know.
I bet.
Man, what a
I'm
talent.
sure.
I bet he does.
Well, dude, it's I think we gotta let you go. You got other obligations here.
Yeah. I got one more, and then I'm going home.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming by, man. And
yeah,
we'll hit up the team about maybe getting you for a writer's round. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah.
What's so it's at
So we do them
Riley's bar.
At Duck Blind, which used to be Winners.
Yeah, I went in there. They showed me around. It wasn't really fully done yet.
Yeah.
But they still got to get like signs and stuff on the walls. And
they got more stuff up. Yeah, we're working on getting some more sound treatment in there too, just to like.
I didn't see that though. I didn't see where they play. Is it the bottom floor?
Yeah.
So I didn't go all the way. It's in the back probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I didn't see
basically like where Winners was, and they just moved the stage back, and instead of the open wall behind it, it's like closed off.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've seen pictures or videos of somebody playing in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Riley and Ella popped up when they kicked off Night Off. Yeah.
So is it way in the back?
It's like more towards the front of the building.
Like where the Whiskey Jam stage used to be.
Really?
They
somehow missed that.
Garage door where it would open is like a wall now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even see that. I didn't go around that corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah.
Is it do people listen? Like, is it a listening thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, especially like we'll move some of the tables out or keep like for the writers rounds. We do like a full band showcase there too on Wednesdays, but like we'll move some out and keep some in, and people will sit down and listen.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. I'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll play mostly new stuff. I've been obsessed with this Eldora record.
That's what they're there for, man. Yeah.
Play
practice.
Stuff they don't know.
Yeah.
Test it out.
Huge practice.
Yep.
And it was good to have that practice at the Bluebird before we did the Bank of America.
Yeah. Not a bad place to practice.
No,
it was so sick. We had a blast.
Yeah, one of my friends was had an extra ticket. I was like, we were at Pig Fest. I couldn't go, but
You got that barbecue.
Jack had a practice too, you know.
Yeah.
Jack did a great job. Hey, buddy.
He's a good boy.
He's been a perfect boy.
Yeah, he's just been rolling around down there a little bit. Came and said hi to me.
He's a good buddy.
Good buddy. Well, man.
Well, thank you guys.
Dude, thank you so much. It's been great. I've been a longtime fan. I saw you play 8-Man Jam back in Pittsburgh back in, I remember 2018 or something.
Yeah. That's the only one I did up there, but it was cool. But it's a different ball game now.
Yeah. And again, man, I love seeing the development, and listening to these last 2 records has been amazing.
Yeah, hopefully you like the next one. I think that's going to be the one that's like, okay, now how do we beat this?
I can't wait.
Yeah, and thanks for playing the show in Carolina, of course.
Dude, I was
donating
whatever he wanted, I was in. So
100%.
24 million.
Yeah,
thanks,
let's go.
guys.
Hey, have you back for next record for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.